How's it going, everybody? Asian, I'm here to bring you another video. Today, we got the topic of contention, I guess you could say. People waking up to the fact that Disney very much is on the DEI elements, pushing those forward and not really entertaining people. A lot of people haven't been crediting A1 Perry Chan from Nerdrotic, works on the editing for him, and he had a bunch of clips saved up that basically exposed or really just allowed the normies to see with more open eyes what's going on with Disney, what's going on with, Marvel, Lucasfilm, and all that stuff, why they're having the films come out the way they do. And I'd say, at least credit the man that actually did the work right before y'all start spreading the information. That's good. Other than that, the thing that is an issue is people in Hollywood, people that have been making films for these popular IPs, some of them have not been approaching the source material with the respect that it deserves. And if they were to have done so sooner, they'd be making a lot more money. The fan base would be booming. There would be no issue, right? There wouldn't be articles being made saying that, the fans are toxic. There's this whole thing about anti-fans and stuff that's been on the rise from George R.R. Martin. And it's just ridiculous when you hear it over and over, because it's like a lot of these fans are not toxic. They're just very passionate about the things that they love, and they're very upset to see what they have come to enjoy be squandered, diminished, and just made fun of by these big studios that have the money to fund them, but instead of doing justice by them, they end up just massacring it, basically. And no better example than, Disney doing what they've done with Lucasfilm and Marvel. Some may say otherwise, but I would say the profit margins and the success rate of Disney as of late would show that no, everything is not okay. I think we should move on to the clip now that everybody's here. So let's see what we got.
I have to be honest, I was not very steeped in the comics.
I didn't read any comics or do any research.
I wasn't familiar with the comics. I wasn't familiar with the movies.
We didn't lean into a whole lot of the history of the comic books.
Yeah, candidly, we were not enormous comic fans.
I wasn't super into superhero comics when I was a kid. I read a lot of indie press stuff.
First thing I was told is don't read the comics.
Really?
As a creator, they put you in a bubble. They don't let you talk about any of the other projects, right?
They're up for anything.
We ultimately decided to redefine it for the series and thought that it worked better for the story that we're trying to tell.
Did you ever read you've never read the comic?
When the DVD comes out, I'm going to read a Thor comic book and just see where we went wrong.
One of these days.
That's what they claimed, right? That's what they said. And that was Thor Ragnarok for that last clip, right? So now that you have seen it, let's break it down. Starting from the last clip that was shown from Thor Ragnarok, I know there was some people saying, maybe these were the signs that, they weren't going to be doing well by the source material. And obviously with Thor Love and Thunder, got proven right, because when you gave Taika Waititi full control of that film, it just became a mess. And then you got him over here making fun of the CGI artist that, painstakingly spent blood, sweat, and tears putting into that animation just for him to make fun of it. Like, haha, it looks like shit. It's like, yeah, what a great director, huh? Then from there, move on to the people that were talking about Echo. Let's redefine what it means to be this character, right? If you would have actually used Echo and her powers, skill sets the way that she was from the comics, you'd have a much more engaging series that was grounded in the same level as Daredevil, right? She wouldn't have powers. She wouldn't have this fucking magical shit where she calls upon her ancestors that are only female, that each have some special gift that are able to, you know, give to another female of the family. It's like, this is fucking contrived. From there, let's move on to the Eternals, right? Completely switching, race swapping, gender swapping characters, all to fit a narrative, political agenda. You know, let's add more diversity into this, which just means less white people. Black Widow, that film got fucking squandered immediately once they turned Taskmaster into a fucking female and made that female be programmable, right? She wasn't even technically skilled, right? She was programmed to have the fighting skills. It's like, come on, guys. The characters that these people love and want to see done justice, you're just like, let's fuck them in the ass, because we're not going to do them justice, right? We're just going to humiliate them and, you know, belittle them. That's pretty much what's all gone on with Marvel, Disney, and also Lucasfilm, right? Because if you were to even take into account the characters from the comics, from the EU, now they're trying to pull stuff from the EU when all their stuff is failing from the sequel trilogy. Nobody saw the Han Solo film, right? If they had a chance, they would have rebooted, but they had fucking failed at that. Now they're trying to push Ahsoka. Now they're trying to push these other characters. The whole force is female. Same thing with Marvel. Everything's female. Push all the male characters that were important, that were smart, that knew what the fuck they were doing. Fuck them. They don't know anything, right? They're idiots. They're bumbling fools. This comes from a place of fucking passion. When you've seen the characters, you've seen how great they were from older cartoons and media, video games and shit, and then now everything's just making fun of the characters you loved, right? I'm gonna share one more clip, and then from there we'll get our last segment in. So, boom.
But you're only, like, you can only animate a thing if you are of the identity of the thing you're animating. So, for example, if you're a young black female, then you are animating the black female character. If you are a white man, then you can animate a white. It is so stupid. The identity politics is so infected animation that it has destroyed the craft. At its heart, animators are actors. This is why when you see a lot animators, they all have mirrors where they're doing the performance and the acting, and then that goes into the animation, whether you're animating a human or a knight or a princess or an ant or a bear, like whatever. Like it's gotten so infected with, I just think, are bad ideas that no one pushes back by. But in an upcoming D-File story, we found the guy that's been doing the DEI training at Disney. You wouldn't believe what this person charges. We have the website. So we're exposing more of this stuff, but no one, not one person, not to mention the Jedi training. I don't know if you guys have heard of that yet. It was in the WGA follow-up story I did. That's everywhere in Hollywood now. And it's old. It's been happening since at least 2022, if not sooner. So Jedi training is justice, equity, diversity, inclusion.
I saw this in the
I feel like actual Jedi training would be far more useful.
I'd be way more interested in that.
Yeah, so that came out we had this member of the WGA that wrote an open letter to the WGA. That resulted in a flood of emails, not just from WGA members, but also from people from other crafts like the Art Directors Guild, IATSE, people from IATSE. Like, I'm already working on a part 2 to that, a follow-up, because every day is like a new leak of info. But I don't know if we're going to see a pushback, because none of these people are willing to speak on the record, and there are no trade publications willing to write this story because they're just as compromised when it comes to the types of people writing the story. So I just prefer honesty about all this stuff. You can't look at what's happened in the industry. You've seen your industry go from $7 billion movies in 2019 to, was it 1 last year? Oppenheimer, if it passes $1 billion, I guess. Do you count that as 2023? Barbie was the biggest box office film of last year.
Right.
So it's very interesting what's transpiring.
The leaks that Elon Musk shared regarding the inclusion standards guidelines that were set out. And it's very interesting because it covers everything from on-screen representation to creative leadership, below-the-line staff, and industry access even, so the people that you even hire into your organization. And I just thought this was kind of an interesting one to look at. So if we talk about on-screen representation, I can just give you a quick rundown of what's in this guidelines booklet. Characters.
Before you do that, I think the most interesting
of discrimination, if we read it here.
Yes.
Characters. On-screen representation. 50% or more of regular and recurring written characters must come from underrepresented groups. Actors. 50% or more of regular and recurring actors must come from underrepresented groups, which is completely out of line with the demographic makeup of America or any other country for that matter. Secondary characters. Meaningful inclusion of underrepresented groups as secondary or more mirror on-screen individuals, including background actors. Series premise. Meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives. Episodic storytelling. Ongoing meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in episodic themes and narratives. So regardless of what your story is actually about, you have to meaningfully integrate underrepresented groups into your story, even if it's got nothing to do with them. And when they say meaningful integration, I know exactly what it means. It means positive depictions of them.
All right. Hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. As I showed in the clip, you got more DEI, you got more evidence of stuff being pushed in to try and just... You can't have a way of thinking unless you're that race, right? You can't have an opinion about this character unless you're that same race. You can't animate them fucking, for God's sake, if you're not that same race. It's like, this is stupid. The amount of work that people did to desegregate people, to get people closer together, has just been eliminated, right? All the work that all these people did to be colorblind, eliminated, because we want to push division into our society. We want to push people being upset, right? Instead of just quality entertainment. I mean, I'm sick of it, but that's the only reason I'm speaking up. Other than that, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Hey, Shinigami, signing out. Y'all have a good evening, good night, and good morning. And let's go. Bye-bye.